What's up, ladies and gentlemen? This is the Jose Show. Happy Tuesday. Now let's get into the first topic of the day. Now let's start off with David Heavy D. Sparks. So David Heavy D. Sparks, one of the two stars of the Diesel Brothers, has been arrested following a bench warrant that was issued October 2nd, TMZ has learned. So this all stems from a failure to pay fees owed in connection with the Clean Air Act lawsuit from a plaintiff listed as Utah Physicians for a Healthy Environment. So the 40-year-old Sparks reportedly owes $843,602.23 in costs that they've allegedly failed to pay back in the course of over 3 years. So he was booked at 7:33 a.m. Tuesday at Salt Lake City Jail. Sparks and his friend David Diesel Dave Kiley were discovered by car enthusiast Jay Leno, who brought them onto his show after their YouTube videos grabbed his attention. So since then, they've kicked it with the likes of Ye, Jake, and Logan Paul, and even went beast mode with Marshawn Lynch. The ex-NFL star had a blast absolutely crushing a Jeep and a monster truck. He even threw in a few donuts for good measure. This is really insane that this guy is now arrested for failing to pay in a lawsuit. This guy should have remembered to paying in a lawsuit, because I'm getting the feeling here that this guy didn't remember at all. Okay, and I believe that $843,000, man, is so darn insane, because that is going towards $1 million. And I don't even know why this guy got to owe that much money in the first place, though. Like, what the heck is going on here? Like, I believe that he maybe forgot to be paying some things to whatever he needed to pay towards to in the past, that all of that got to accumulate as the time went by, that then he ended up owing that much money in the lawsuit. And then later on, like I said, I believe that this guy ended up forgetting to pay all of that whole entire amount in the lawsuit. Or maybe what could have been the case here was that maybe this guy did remember to be having to pay that much money. However, he purposely ended up not paying any of that because of the fact that maybe he doesn't have nowhere near that amount of money, and he thought that, you know, the people that were suing him forgot that he owed that amount of money and that he was going to be off the hook because of that. But guess what? When you are owing a bunch of money, especially over $843,000, honey, nobody forgets that you are owing that much money. They always remember that you owe because they need the amount of money, okay? Especially because of the fact that it is an insane amount of money, okay? And let's also remember that this guy, he now has more of a situation going on in his life now, because I mean, not only is he owing that much money, but also now he got arrested because of the fact that he failed to pay the amount of money in a lawsuit. So now I believe that now he is more in the trouble than he was in the past. And now it sucks to be him because of the fact that now he is going to be stuck in behind bars, and now he's going to be like, what the heck is going on here? Like, I should have paid all of that money in the first place, period. Okay? And also, if he really didn't have that much money to be paying in the lawsuit, then I mean, he could have at least asked, I don't know, his parents to lend him some money. He could have asked somebody that he knew to lend him some money. He could have, I don't know, go on into a GoFundMe page to be, getting money little by his supporters, so that way he can be able to be paying off that lawsuit in order to get out of that trouble. He could have found a way, instead of trying to get away with it by not paying that amount of money and then getting into so much trouble. Like, that is so darn stupid. So I feel so bad for the poor guy. I really do. And now, honestly, he is in a very scary situation where now he is just, facing the music over in jail. Okay, so anyways, on to the next topic. So unfortunately, Kimberly Hebert Gregory, best known for her scene-stealing roles in Vice Principals, The Chi, and 5 Feet Apart, has died. Her ex-husband, Chester Gregory, confirmed the news Saturday on Instagram, sharing a heartfelt tribute to Kimberly. He reflected on their bond, calling her so much more than an ex-wife, and describing their son as a living reminder of her light, laughter, and brilliance. So Gregory went on to thank Kimberly for the time they shared, saying her life was defined not by struggle but by the grace and beauty she carried. He ended his message with rest in power, rest in peace. You are deeply loved, Kim. You did good. Okay, so tributes from Hollywood quickly poured in. Walton Goggins, who worked alongside Kimberly on HBO's Vice Principals, remembered her as one of the most talented people he'd ever collaborated with, praising her professionalism, humor, and unmatched energy. He called her a true powerhouse who will be deeply missed. So fellow stars like Leslie Jones, Yvette Nicole Brown, and Busy Phillips also shared their heartbreak, calling Kimberly a light, a force, and a loss to the entire community. Okay, so over her decades-long career, Kimberly built an impressive resume, appearing in hit TV shows like Gossip Girl, Grey's Anatomy, Brooklyn Nine-Nine, Shameless, and The Big Bang Theory. Okay, this is very sad that this poor woman ended up passing away. She was such an icon. She was such an amazing person, and I think that she'll forever be remembered as this icon and as this amazing person. She got to participate in so many projects because of how much of a talent she had, and because of the fact that she really was willing to dedicate her own life to what she loved to do, which was acting. And she made so many friends throughout the whole entire industry. I mean, she was friends with Yvette Nicole Brown especially, which, by the way, is another iconic actress. And she got to, be one of those actresses that wasn't afraid to, go out there and be herself, and to, do especially what she loved to do. And by the way, she was only 52 years old when she passed away. That is a very young age. I am really wondering why she ended up passing away. I really am wondering. But honestly, though, I feel like it's just one of those things, unfortunately, where, people, they end up passing away regardless of what age they are. And, it's also one of those things where we need to be thankful. We need to be extremely grateful for the people that are still here on this day, and, just live life little by little and not take it for granted. Okay, but anyways, well, I think that everyone will remember Kimberly Haber as this amazing human being, and of course everyone will remember her for the roles that she was in, and of course for how much people were laughing at all of the things that she did in the sitcoms that she was in and so forth. And of course, I mean, it's one of those things too where Kimberly Haber was, that light, that ray of sunshine in the Hollywood business, along with several other actresses that were, of course, just like her. And she was, one of those people that never ever got to show a sign of negativity towards anybody in the entertainment industry, which really caused so many people to really want to be like her, and of course to be friends with her, and also want to work with her. And that pretty much explains it as to why she ended up getting into a bunch of projects where she was highly beloved. And let's also remember that she also was somebody that, of course, was very, very, beautiful. She was very, kind and very patient towards everybody. And, she, of course, was somebody that, of course, was very enthusiastic into, being the type of person that she was, regardless of who she was with. Like she was like that type of person that definitely was like, okay, well, you know what? If I'm going to be with this person, I'm just going to be myself, and I'm just going to continue to be myself, either this person likes it or not, because at the end of the day, life is too short to be something that you are not. And that's exactly who she was. And she also was highly beloved by Leslie Jones. She was highly beloved by Busy Phillips. She was highly beloved by Walton Goggins especially. And, the role that will definitely mark her for the rest of our lives is Vice Principals, because she really made such an iconic role in that sitcom because of how hilarious she was in that sitcom, and of course because of how good of a job she did in that sitcom. Okay, I mean, she did an amazing job in a bunch of other sitcoms, but especially in that sitcom of vice principals. Okay, but I believe that there will not be another Kimberly Hebert, and I believe that, she'll forever be remembered and she'll forever be in our hearts. We love you, Kimberly Hebert. Rest in peace. Now on to the next topic. So Taylor Swift isn't down to perform at the Super Bowl halftime show just yet, and it turns out Travis Kelce has something to do with it. While chatting with Jimmy Fallon on The Tonight Show Monday, Taylor addressed a number of rumors about her personal life, including speculation she turned down the halftime show because the NFL wouldn't let her own the footage. So Taylor shut that down quickly, saying it's not true at all. She says her team and Jay-Z, who leads Roc Nation and programs the Super Bowl halftime show, have a great relationship, and while there been conversations about her interest in performing, that doesn't mean an official offer was ever on the table. So she says she had her team and have always been upfront with Jay-Z, explaining she's in love with the guy on the field playing a very violent game during the season. She's completely locked in on everything Travis is doing out there, and the idea of her worrying about choreography if he's playing in the biggest game of the year is downright laughable. So Taylor Swift might be jumping the gun here, considering it's far from certain the Kansas City Chiefs, who have a losing record through the first 5 weeks of the NFL season, will even make it to the Super Bowl. Alright, so Swift says none of this is on Travis. He would love for her to perform. Still, that possibility alone is enough for her to hold off on such a massive gig. So Swifties, let's just see what's going to happen here. Okay, so this is really insane that Taylor Swift is saying it like it is as to why she hasn't performed at the Super Bowl yet, and that the reason to why she hasn't performed at the Super Bowl yet is because of the fact that she is more concerned about Travis Kelce than about herself. And to me, it's really considerable, and it's really good that she's like that, because it's coming to show that she really has that care and that love for Travis Kelce, her own fiance, by the way. And she's not being selfish. And I think that, of course, it might be very, tough for her anyways, having to be worrying about her own choreography in front of a bunch of people at the Super Bowl, and then having to worry about her own fiance doing good at the Super Bowl at the same time, and so forth. And that's if, by the way, Travis Kelce ends up making it to the Super Bowl show, because, let's remember that, unfortunately, the Kansas City Chiefs have had a streak of losing these past few weeks, unfortunately. So who knows if the Kansas City Chiefs are going to make it to the Super Bowl game after all. But anywho, yet again, even if Travis Kelce does not end up, playing at the Super Bowl game with the Kansas City Chiefs, yet again, Taylor Swift, would have to worry so much about the choreography. She would have to worry so much about impressing so many people in the game and so forth. And, that is like the last thing that she wants, because, I can't imagine how stressful that is. So I don't blame Taylor Swift for turning down the offer, I guess, and that's if she actually turned it down. And I really am considerable about the fact that, she is already, dealing with so much right now, because she just released her new album, The Life of a Showgirl, and she's been, busy promoting it here and there, and she's been, out and about and this and that, and it's just so much for her. But I believe that, yes, it would be so iconic having to see Taylor Swift out and about in a game performing at the halftime show, because, at the end of the day, it is Taylor Swift, and she does have a really good dance moves, and she can sing, and she can definitely, perform so darn well, to the point that she would definitely leave Rihanna and Kendrick Lamar looking like garbage. No offense to Kendrick Lamar and Rihanna. Okay, and I do believe at this point that it is pretty laughable that somebody that is as huge as Taylor Swift hasn't performed at the Super Bowl just yet, because typically it takes somebody that is as huge as Taylor Swift to be performing at the Super Bowl, and especially somebody that is, has been in the business for like almost 20 years now, like Taylor Swift. So there's also that, okay? And we've already had icons like Katy Perry on stage at the Super Bowl. We've already had Madonna. We've already had Janet Jackson. We've already had Katy Perry. We've already had Lady Gaga, which, by the way, Lady Gaga and Katy Perry are around Taylor Swift's era, by the way. So that's the reason to why I'm saying is that, it is kind of laughable that Taylor Swift hasn't been performing at the halftime show at the Super Bowl just yet. But it'll come eventually. I'm pretty sure Taylor Swift will change her mind and she'll be like, you know what, screw it. I'm definitely going to go out there and perform. But one thing's for sure though is that if Taylor ends up performing at the Super Bowl halftime show, which by the way she's not, unfortunately, she'll definitely give that album of hers, which is by the way The Life of a Showgirl, really good promotion. And definitely it will boost up the sales by a lot, and it'll boost up the streams by a lot, because I mean typically when it comes to the halftime show, a lot of people get to watch the halftime show. We are talking about hundreds of millions of people. Okay, and I'm sure that she would definitely break the record for the most watched halftime show ever for the Super Bowl, especially. Okay, so there's also that. So it will definitely be, a huge, and I mean huge convenience for Taylor Swift if Taylor Swift were to ever perform at the Super Bowl, at the 2026 Super Bowl. But unfortunately, like I said, she's not. Okay, but anywho, Taylor Swift, we love you and congratulations on your engagement, and of course congratulations on the release of your new album The Life of a Showgirl, which by the way is record breaking and it's so freaking good. Okay, but anywho, that is it for today's show, ladies and gentlemen. I really hope you guys enjoyed today's lovely show of The Jose Show. Till next time, and peace.